2012, the year my life changed forever. I'd like to take you back to 2012 and share with you a personal, emotional and inspirational story of how 15 words brought me out of the shadows back into the light. Contest chair, Toastmasters and guests. Do you all have a favourite place you like to be alone? My favourite place is the 1 hour drive to work in my car. It's a time when I can listen to my favourite speaker, Jim Rowan. I love his relaxed style of speaking, whilst at the same time hitting me over the head and reminding me, do not wish you were easier, wish you were better. Do not wish it were easier, wish you were better. It's also a time when I love to listen to my music loud, to the power of a singer's voice, like Michael Jackson and Celine Dion and the incredible Andrea Bocelli. Yes, my car is my favourite time to be alone. Except for a day in 2012. This day was very, very different. With no music playing, no radio on, nothing except the sound of the road beneath me and the thoughts in my head. The thoughts of my marriage have broken down. The thoughts of being alone for the first time in 35 years. And the thoughts of looking after my son who has disabilities. I was so far in those shadows I could only see a flicker of light. With tears consistently streaming down my face, I simply could not stop crying. I was an emotional wreck. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 15 words rushed through my mind like the winds of a storm. So powerful and clear in my mind, I was forced to stop the car and to write those words down on a small piece of paper before they were gone forever. When I finished work that day, I took out that piece of paper to read what I had written earlier that morning. The spirit of life is when you give and you share your spirit to another life. The spirit of life is when you give and you share your spirit to another life. As I sat there and read those words over and over, and in the coming weeks, I was asking myself these questions. Why was I given those words back in 2012? Why me? What was their purpose? And just a few weeks later, whilst my son and I were sitting in a restaurant having dinner, a group of 5 people walk in, all happy and chatting, and they go sit in the far corner of the restaurant. For some reason, I was transfixed on these people, and I needed to ask the waitress why they were here. She said, "Sir, one is the bride, and she is to be married here tomorrow evening." My first thought was, one marriage about to finish. another about to begin. Now, isn't it amazing how our minds work? Because the very next thought were those 15 words that I'd written down just a few weeks earlier. It totally consumed me to want to write these words down on a serviette and to give to the people at the table. I don't know why. I simply needed to do it. So I wrote those words down on a piece of paper, on a serviette. I gave them to the waitress to give to them. I paid for a round of drinks. We then left. The next evening we arrived back at the hotel and the staff see me and they ask, the bride and groom want to meet you. I take one look at myself. I am not dressed for a wedding. I'm introduced to the bride and she gives me one of the greatest hugs I've had in my life. She then proceeds to tell me that those 15 words that I wrote for her last night made all her cry and everyone's with her. For what I did not know was, at the last hour the music cancelled and the photographer cancelled. All she could see is her greatest day of her life falling apart. Until she read those 15 words. The power of words can change lives and change someone's life in a heartbeat. My message to you wonderful people today is you all have a wonderful spirit and heart. And when you're willing to share it, you will change someone's life. And since that day, I've learnt that those words are not mine to keep. Those words are mine to give away. Contest chair.